Hello and welcome to our extended disc mini webinar. This morning had a 1 hour webinar, so this is my quick webinar, which is great. Today we're going to be talking about the S styles. We're going to give you just kind of an overview introduction of them. If you missed our D and I webinars, you can go to our extended disc YouTube channel and find them there. And we'll of course be wrapping up the series with the C styles. My name is Christina Bowser, and I'm the training director here at Extended Disc North America. And joining me today is my colleague, president of Extended Disc. Hi, Marku.
Hi, Christina. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
And of course, always, we record these webinars like you heard me say. And also, we love your questions, but unfortunately, because it's a 15-minute webinar, we don't have time to get to them. But promise you, we will answer them and just put them in the Q&A section and we will follow up with you after the session is over. S styles, owning it, I'm out there, I'm an S style, proud S style. So with S styles, they're a little bit different in a way. You know, some people say they're kind of harder to recognize, but before we jump into that, let's just kind of take a step back and look at just what is S style and how is it part of the 4 disc styles. Do you want to talk about that, Marku?
Well, kind of big picture. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Christina. When we talk about the disc styles, not only S, but other 3 as well, none of the styles are better. And in fact, we have all of these styles in us. So if you're listening to this, you have some S styles in you. Some of you, that's the most comfortable style for you. Some is least comfortable, or somewhere in between. So we have all of these styles. So the thing about this model is that we're really not trying to grade people better or worse, high or low scores. There's nothing like that, but really understand how we tend to react to our environment, how we interact with other people. So when we talk about the D, I, and S styles today and C styles next week, we just wanted to understand what are the main behavioral styles so we can really hone into who we are to create that confident self-awareness, recognize how we identify the other styles of the other styles of other people, and then make those behavioral modifications to become more successful, whatever our role might be in professional life or in our personal lives.
Yeah, and many of you listening in today, you've probably already, had some kind of overview of D, I, S, and C, or you're familiar with it. So what we're going to talk about is just kind of how we present S styles to people who may have never heard it before. So on this slide, you can see again the extended disc diamond with the 4 quadrants, the 4 main disc styles that Marku talked about. And you can see that the S style is on the more reserved half of the model versus the right active side. Not only are the S styles on the reserve side, but they also happen to be on the bottom half of the model, which we have S's and I's as being the more people-oriented style versus the C's and D's at the top half being more task-oriented. And as we say, it doesn't mean that the S style being on the bottom people-oriented half cannot focus on tasks. It's just that their natural preference tends to draw to more people. Anything you would add to that, Marku?
You're absolutely correct here. We are S styles are more people-oriented, and we talked about I styles last week. And of course, they are also people-oriented. But the difference between the I styles and the S styles, who we are talking about today, is that I styles, they love people in general. Anybody, we want to be the center of attention, meet new people, go to a new town, we travel somewhere, we have this opportunity to meet everyone. S styles are more about the people they know. They really love working in teams because the team environment provides them not only opportunities to support the team, but the team members provide them with support and encouragement and a feeling of that stability and calmness and being part of something that is small yet very cohesive. And of course, family and friends tend to be really important, while I styles, they know everybody. S styles tend to have a kind of a group of core family and obviously family members, but also friends that they really associate and feel most comfortable with them. And they really tend to form those friendships that last for a long time. If you talk to an S style and you talk about their friends, you'll find that they have these friends that they knew from childhood, kindergarten, high school, all the way to the rest of their lives, because they really appreciate those long-term relationships, having those close contacts with a few people, not with everyone.
Exactly. And, one of the questions I, as a trainer, oftentimes get is, well, S's are reserved, and C's are also reserved. And it's kind of hard to distinguish the fact. And that's one of the reasons why I say S styles seemed a little bit different sometimes. They're very amiable, as Marku said. They're very friendly, especially with one-on-one situations and people they know. But when reserve styles, we all have energy. So let's just put it out there. We all have energy, except your D's and I's tend to have their energies more closer to the surface where we can actually see that energy. Whereas your S's and C's, they have the energy, but it tends to sit below the surface. So one tip I always give to people when you're trying to distinguish between a C and an S is C styles, because they're more task oriented, tend to be cooler. And S styles, which are more people oriented styles, they tend to be warmer. So it's not about hot and cold. It's just that you have kind of think about warmer and cooler. And that's sometimes a way to help you distinguish those styles.
Yeah.
The other thing I just want to mention.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. All right.
No, go ahead.
I just want to say the other thing is that we are talking about 4 main DISC styles. But as Marku said, we have all 4 styles. And not only do we have all 4 styles, most of us have 3 or 2 styles naturally. So even though we're focusing in on one style, main style at a time, it's just to help your participants understand the differences between the 2 styles or the 4 styles. But remember, most of us are naturally a combination of more than one style.
Very true. And the only thing I was going to add there, Christina, is that because you are so right, people have no problem separating D and I. But when it comes to S and C, they have more challenge. But if you focus on the kind of things the S style or C styles talk about, you will quickly notice that there is a difference. S styles tend to talk more about people, team members, how it impacts our team or our organization, family, friends, etc. While C's will ask and talk about more about things and tasks, numbers and figures, those kind of things. And the questions that they ask are different. The S styles will ask a lot of how questions. How can I? While C's will ask a lot of those detailed why questions. So if you just notice those differences, you will be able to identify the styles. Now, last things I want to say about S styles is that really the S styles are the most challenging to identify. So if you flip that thing over, if you have challenge identifying somebody's style, there's a good chance they are an S.
Exactly. I always say, if you don't know, start with S first and work backwards.
That's right. Good point.
So just some overviews, you guys can see this in front of you, so we're not going to read every one, but one of the ones I like to highlight is just what happens to us under pressure. When we're under pressure, we just don't have the same capacity and focus to be able to adjust our style. So what happens? We tend to fall back on our most comfortable behavioral style. So for the S style, when they feel under pressure, they become what we call too accommodating, where they become too willing, often gives in. There usually are the people that we can count on, that if we go to them and we ask them for help, they can say yes. But there are times where they really should be saying no, but they don't, right? And so they continue, and then sometimes the resentment builds, and yeah, it doesn't usually end well.
Absolutely. And sometimes people who see this happen is that they're too willing, they really want to give in, as you said, Christina. It's not that they are weak. It's really that they want to help you. They want to help others. Their sort of source of energy, if you will, is to help others and be the one that really is the last person to take care of everyone. So if you think of the classic movie Titanic with Leonardo
DiCaprio.
Oh, I should know. Sorry, I'm not a woman, so I forget. So anyway, so a good-looking guy. So, but if you think of the captain in the last scene, the captain of the ship is the last one to leave the ship. So if you want to think of an image of S style, it is the captain of the ship who wants to make sure everybody's okay. So it's not that they are giving in. They just want to make sure that they are taking care of everyone. So if you kind of change your frame of mind thinking about S-styles, it's not weakness, but it's actually quite strength.
Love it. So just some kind of starting points on how you typically identify S styles. S styles, we say, they like their communication in one direction, but unlike the D's and I's that actually want to talk and have you listen, your S styles tend to be your very active listeners. They want to hear your opinion, as Marku says. They want to think about what you have to say. And they're very active listeners. And they tend to be very modest. They don't like to be rushed. They want guidance. I think one of the things we said, Marku, is that the S style makes a very conscientious leader, meaning that they might be slow to start. They're going to think about and consider everybody, like you said, captain of the ship. But once they tell you they're going to do something, or when they tell you they can't do something, you know that that's going to happen. Once they tell you to do something, they're going to do it. But if they can't do it, they will also tell you.
Yeah, they're very committed to a long-term plan, and they don't want to let anybody down. So if they say something, they really do mean it. They don't just casually make a statement and hope and somehow it happens. They really are committed to it. And like Christina said, they are not really quick to start. They're not that sports car going to 0 to 60 really fast. They're that freight train leaving the station really slow, but they are so persistent. In fact, S styles are the most persistent of the 4 styles. They are really committed to something. And they really, when they make the commitment, they are focusing on people and how they are playing a part in that commitment to achieve those long-term results.
Right. Except, S styles, including myself, we just like to work at a slower pace. And our conscientiousness that we have and our trustworthiness, we expect the same from the people we interact with. So I always jokingly say, don't tell me you're going to do something and then not do it, because if you don't do it, it frustrates me to no end. In fact, I'd rather you just not tell me. So when we think of, remember, when you tell an S style you're going to do something, they may interpret that as a promise. So make sure you follow up and take care of what you've said.
That's a very good point. And if you think about that, if you're a manager and you have S style employees, just think about how difficult that can be, because things are happening so fast. You have that conversation with an S style employee and something else happens and it just slips your mind. You don't mean to do it, but it slips your mind. But that S style will remember it. If you think of that, they have a not only long-term perspective, but they also have a very long-term memory. So just keep that in mind.
But I always say, we're people oriented. If you acknowledge and try to remedy the mistake, we're very forgiving people.
Oh, S styles are the most forgiving of all styles.
Exactly.
Thank God. Yeah.
So communication styles, like I said, S styles are ones that they prefer to listen. They prefer to hear your viewpoint over speaking up. They're trying to establish rapport with you. So they're trying to build trust. They're, energy tends to sit below the surface. So they're very calm. They're not very excitable when they're speaking. And they're more comfortable with people they're familiar with or one-on-one situations. Anything you would add, Marku, to the S's communication style?
Well, I'm stereotyping here a little bit, but they are the best listeners, and their listening is not only they do nod and they provide you that feedback that they are listening, but in fact, they are listening. They really want to empathize what you're saying, and they're trying to understand what it means, not only to you, but what that same message would mean to that person, their own person. And they want to help and they want to support. Yeah, no, I don't think the only thing I would say about the S style communication is that if you happen to be an S style, just maybe be a little bit more assertive in your communication and in your behavior in general, because I suspect you've been in situations when later on you said, I should have taken that action. So I always say S styles, do that Nike slogan, just do it, don't overthink it, just do it, it'll be okay.
Don't wait for that perfect moment, just do it.
Just do it.
So hopefully today that just gave you a very broad introduction. And remember, most of our clients, when they come to our DISC sessions, they're hearing DISC for the first time. So we want to just give them a kind of broad scope so that they're able to interpret their own results. If you have any questions about S styles or any of the other DISC styles, you can find more information on our extendeddisc.org website. We do have quite a few webinars coming up. We had 3 this week. Marco, you want to talk about some of the webinars coming up next week?
Well, we're going to wrap up the DISC styles with the C style next Wednesday, a week from today, same time, same channel. And we talk about, just 6 days from today, we talk about the sales capacity assessment, the SC assessments. We're going to focus on the team competencies summary report. You see the times there, but really the best way to do this is go to our website, extendeddisc.org, right-hand corner on that, as you go this way, I think, and click on events tab, and you find all of the upcoming webinars. And just make sure that you register. You don't have to make the date and the time, because if you register, we'll send you the recording just a few days later, so you can listen to it at your convenience or share it with others you think would benefit from that. So I think that's Christina. Thanks very much. It was always good talking with you, and hopefully we can come to office and work together again soon.
So hopefully soon. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you very much.